How's it going, everybody? I am Jason of JasonsRealm here, joined by my dad. How's it going tonight, Dad?
All right.
And we are joined by a very special guest here. He's going to be joining us here momentarily. It is going to be our AI chatbot. If you've been here long enough, you know him. It is DougBot. We're going to have him make 2 March Madness brackets, hence what you're seeing over here off to my side. So I guess without further ado, and give me a second. DougBot is throwing some errors. I should have tested this before, but now we'll let him run. How are we doing, everybody? How are we feeling? I'm going to see if I can try and make this into a video as well. It all depends on how things play out, but we might try to make this into an actual YouTube video. So we're ready to go here. So I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and talk to DougBot. Yo, what's good, Mr. DougBot? You're going to be getting your own YouTube live stream tonight. We're getting ready for some March Madness, and I'm going to have you make 2 brackets. We'll provide you the games. You just got to give us a prediction. You ready? This is going to be a long chat history, but I got the credits to burn. So we'll see here. Is DougBot ready to go? Is he ready to roll?
Yo, Jason. It's tremendous news. Really fantastic. A YouTube live stream devoted to yours truly, DougBot. What a great idea. You know, I'll have those March Madness brackets ready faster than Sleepy Joe forgets where he put his glasses. I'm always ready for a little bit of prediction game magic. Bring on the games and let's make some winning picks. We're going to make those brackets great again, right, folks? Absolutely fabulous. MAGA.
So who do you think DougBot's going to take for his first bracket? Who do you think is going to win in his bracket?
I don't know who's on the brackets. I don't know.
Look it up. You got a phone?
I don't know what your first bracket is.
This is going to be his first bracket. He's making 2, so we'll see. Let's see what Dad thinks. Who do you guys think DougBot's going to take? Let me know in the chat. What you guys got. Who do you have winning, Bagel? Who do you have winning March Madness, huh? You got DougBot winning? Huh? And you guys can join DougBot as well in our pool. There is a little pool linked over onto the YouTube post tab on the channel. But I think he's going to go something safe. I think he's going to go something probably like Michigan. Michigan or Duke. I think he's going to take a 1 seed. What seed do you think he's going to take? Your presence, no.
I think.
Who's he going?
I think it might be. I'm gonna say Kansas.
Okay, so you're going to a specific team. You're going to 4 seed. All right, so let's go ahead and roll into here. Let's see what he has to say. All right, DougBot, here we go. Let's start with the Eastern Division. We have the number 1 seed Duke taking on the 16 seed Siena. The number 8 seed Ohio State taking on the number 9 seed TCU. The number 5 seed St. John's taking on the number 12 seed Northern Iowa. The number 4 seed Kansas taking on the number 13 California Baptist. The number 6 seed Louisville taking on the 11 seed South Florida. The number 3 seed Michigan State taking on the number 14 seed North Dakota State. The number 7 seed UCLA taking on the number 10 seed UCF, and the number 2 seed UConn taking on the number 15 seed Furman. This is also tough because some of the college names are like not intuitive, so it's also running it through Azure, who's trying to convert my speech to words, which is then getting fed into DougBot. So we'll see. We'll see what he has to say.
As long as you don't do
All right, Jason, let's dive into this fantastic Eastern Division of March Madness. Duke versus Siena is honestly like a Green Bay Packers versus Chicago Bears matchup. Duke will, of course, smash them like it's nothing. No contest. Expect a big win for Duke. For Ohio State versus TCU, listen closely, folks. Ohio State is like the New England Patriots taking on Sleepy Joe's golf game. They'll come out on top with strategy and poise. St. John's versus Northern Iowa. Now, this could be interesting, but I've got to say, St. John's is coming in strong like the Pittsburgh Steelers, so I give them the win. Kansas versus California Baptist. I mean, come on. Kansas is like a bratwurst at a Pennsylvania tailgate. Simply unbeatable. Kansas takes this one. Then there's Louisville versus South Florida, folks. Shoot for Louisville here as they have that real game-winning magic.
Going with chalk
like
bracket.
the Jets finally winning, it could happen for them. For Michigan State versus North Dakota State, it's like the Pittsburgh Penguins playing on ice. Michigan State will glide right through. UCLA versus UCF. UCLA has got the skills, and I think they'll sweep UCF faster than the radical left throws taxpayer money around. UCLA all the way. Finally, UConn versus Perman, folks. UConn is too good. They're like Patriots in their prime. Expect a dominating performance. Let's see how it plays out, Jason. Great picks, very great.
He's doing a chalk bracket. Are you kidding me? This is March Madness. Not always the favorite will win. I'll remind him of that as we get into this second set here. So we'll make sure that we remind him that this is March Madness. It is madness. We're going to go through the South. What do you think of his East, though, Dad?
Well, my Kansas is still there. And he talked about Kansas being a bratwurst, and you know how he loves his bratwurst. That's what I'm saying. Kansas could be it.
All right, let's go. All right, here comes the South Division. We got the number 1 seed Florida taking on the 16 seed winner of the play-in between PV and Lehigh. The number 8 seed Clemson taking on the number 9 seed Iowa. The number 5 seed Vanderbilt taking on the number 12 seed McNeese. The number 4 seed Nebraska taking on the number 13 seed Troy. The number 6 seed North Carolina taking on the 11 seed VCU. The number 3 seed Illinois taking on the number 14 seed Penn. The number 7 seed St. Mary's taking on the number 10 seed Texas A&M. And the number 2 seed Houston taking on the number 15 seed Idaho. Now, you don't have to choose an upset, but remember, it is March Madness. The favorite does not always win. We'll see what he says, because that whole first bracket, that whole first section was just chalk. That whole first section was chalk. Oh, we got the response. We're waiting on him to actually say it. Okay, come on. Come on. Don't be shy, DougBot.
Jason, let's get into the S division here, folks. Tremendous matchups. Florida, number 1 seed, against the winner of PV and Lehigh. It's like the Jets facing the Cleveland Browns. Trust me, Florida sweeps them up easily with greatness. Clemson versus Iowa. This one's tricky, but Clemson has that spark, much like the Pittsburgh Steelers in the second half. Let's say Clemson ends up with the win. Vanderbilt versus McNeese. While everyone loves an underdog story, Vanderbilt's too strong. They're like a bratwurst grilling on my tailgate. Can't go wrong there. Nebraska versus Troy, folks. Nebraska's taking this. Too much like the Patriots not to win. North Carolina versus VCU. I'd say we might have a sleeper here, folks. VCU's got potential. Maybe an upset like a radical left conspiracy could happen. Folks, Illinois versus Penn. We're talking about Illinois rolling through Chicago and all. They'll get a win easier than cackling Kamala's laugh track. St. Mary's versus Texas A&M. Put your chips down. St. Mary's moves ahead, just like a big Trump win. Finally, Houston versus Idaho, folks. I'm telling you, Houston's got this in the bag, much like the Penguins scoring an overtime goal on the ice. Expect Houston's win here. Such exciting matchups. Let's see if these predictions hold true. March Madness, baby.
Yeah, like the Penguins scoring an overtime goal and their 15 playout or overtime or shootout losses. DougBot. You're more out of touch than half the people in Congress. Well, I don't quite agree with your assessment of the Penguins scoring overtime goals because they have 15 overtime and shootout losses. But let's move on to the West Division. We got the number 1 seed Arizona taking on 16 seed Long Island. The number 8 seed Villanova taking on the 9 seed Utah State. The number 5 seed Wisconsin taking on the 12 seed High Point. The number 4 seed Arkansas taking on the 13 seed Hawaii. The number 6 seed BYU taking on the 11 seed, the winner of Texas versus NC State. The number 3 seed Gonzaga taking on the number 14 Kennesaw State. The number 7 seed Miami taking on the number 10 seed Missouri. And the number 2 seed Purdue taking on the number 15 seed Queens. What do you think of DougBot's prediction so far, Dad?
Well, I still think you have to pick a number one team that you think he's going to do.
Fine, Duke.
You think Duke? Okay.
Duke's a safe bet for a lot of
I think
brackets.
he's still doing a.
He picked VCU though.
Yeah, he picked one underdog.
We'll see if he keeps it up.
There's got to be one that's like 11th or 12th.
Oh, Jason,
here we
what
go.
a solid West Division we've got here. Truly incredible. Let's get right into it. Arizona, the top seed, up against Long Island. Arizona will most likely treat it like a practice scrimmage. No real competition there. You can bet on Arizona winning like it's a Steel City tailgate. Villanova versus Utah State, folks. Villanova's got the spirit and pedigree like the Jets rallying from behind. Villanova snags the win. Wisconsin versus High Point. Similar to the Wisconsin Badgers pulling off a big football win. I see Wisconsin taking this one. Arkansas versus Hawaii, folks, feels like an easy one for Arkansas. It's like Green Bay running over the Bears. Arkansas should prevail. BYU versus the Texas versus NC State winner. Well, BYU is quite solid, folks, and they'll likely go forward just as fast as creepy Tim Waltz hides from the truth. Gonzaga versus Kennesaw State, honestly. Gonzaga is like a Patriot dynasty in the making. Dominance all day for Gonzaga. Miami versus Missouri. It's a close call, Jason, but Miami could edge out a tough win with maybe a MAGA spirit boost, if you will. Finally, Purdue against Queens. It's no contest, really. Purdue is going to knock it out of the park, very much like the Milwaukee Brewers with their Bratwurst and Ballpark classics. Exciting stuff, Jason. Let's see how these play out. March Madness is truly something else.
I am going to strangle DougBot in the last millennium.
You just got to pick the higher seeded one.
At this point, I'm going to go ahead and tell him that he got to pick some upsets. Let's roll. You know, if you want to win the bracket pool, you're going to have to take some upsets. March Madness always has some crazy upsets, and you've basically been making a chalk bracket so far. I'm not telling you what upsets to take, but like, a chalk bracket does not usually do well in March Madness. Either way, here comes the Midwest Division. We got Michigan taking on the winner of UMBC versus Howard. And then we got Georgia taking on St. Louis. Texas Tech taking on Akron. Alabama taking on Hofstra. Tennessee taking on the winner of Miami, Ohio versus SMU. Virginia taking on the winner of Wright State. Kentucky taking on Santa Clara. And Iowa State taking on Tennessee State. That was weird wording. He might get tripped up on Virginia Wright State. Because it's Virginia Wright State, not the winner of anything. There's not a playing game.
And you didn't put who's number one, number two, number three.
Yeah, I did that on purpose.
Okay.
I don't want him to know the seeds at this point because he just keeps picking chalk. So, hopefully that'll fix it.
Oh, Jason, you're absolutely right. March Madness without upsets is like having a bratwurst without mustard. Unthinkable. So let's sprinkle a little madness on this Midwest Division, shall we? Michigan facing the winner of UMBC versus Howard. Now we know UMBC had a legendary upset before. Crazy as it sounds, I'll make a bold move. If UMBC wins that play-in, they might shock Michigan. A wild one, folks. Just might happen. Georgia versus St. Louis. I'm thinking this could be close, but Georgia surely holds the cards like the Steelers' defense on a good day. Georgia to advance. Texas Tech versus Akron. Now hear me out. Akron could pull off a miracle here, folks. Picture this.
That's
a
the most
David
likely
versus
5-12.
Goliath story running through Alabama versus Hofstra. I like Alabama, folks, but Hofstra could sneak up, take a win faster than Sleepy Joe ends a speech. Tennessee against Miami of Ohio versus SMU winner. I'm leaning heavily on Tennessee like MAGA rally support. Tennessee should push through. Virginia versus Wright State winner. Wright State sometimes comes with a twist, Jason. Let's play it fun and say Wright State shocks, aiming for that ultimate upset. Kentucky versus Santa Clara. Easily Kentucky's game to lose. Folks, like the Patriots in Super Bowls, you know it's theirs. Iowa State versus Tennessee State, Jason. I've got to say Iowa
swear.
State should advance. Feeling better than creepy Tim Waltz in a room with liberals. Ah, love those upsets. Keeps it exciting like a Pittsburgh Penguins overtime victory. Let's make this March Madness unforgettable, folks.
I might have screwed over his bracket. Michigan has a chance. They have the gusto to go all the way. And because I told him to pick an upset, he immediately axed Michigan. Oh my gosh, I might have just screwed him.
Did we switch it?
I don't know that I should. Oh, let's see what he said. He said, Michigan facing the winner of UMBC versus Howard. Now we know he basically just completely ignored Michigan. And he did say UMBC. I didn't tell him what upsets to pick.
If UMBC wins. If UMBC doesn't win, I guess, is it Michigan?
I'm going to ask for clarification on that.
Yeah.
Can I get some clarification on the Michigan game? Because the play-in game hasn't happened yet, and we can't take something conditionally. You need to either choose Michigan or the winner of UMBC versus Howard. You can't just say, if UMBC wins, then them. What's your pick? So this should be a clear answer, hopefully.
Okay.
All right, Jason, I appreciate your guidance. Truly fantastic. You're spot on. So let me make it clear. I'll back Michigan to take it. Even though UMBC pulled off a miracle upset in their history, I think Michigan comes out on top this time, just like a top-notch Steelers performance. Go with Michigan. Stand strong and make America great again with those brackets.
Okay, then. Let's go ahead and get on into our second round here. Oh, okay. Oh, shoot! I accidentally killed DougBot. Well, we start fresh for the second round. We start a new chat. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. I accidentally hit the play button, the run button, while it was already running, which caused it to, freak out. That's unfortunate. How's it going, DougBot? I'm here joined by my dad. We need you to predict March Madness. You already predicted the first round in a past life. Are you ready to keep predicting on in March Madness? This is the first of 2 brackets you're going to make. And, yeah, just give us a quick prediction. Are you ready? Okay, there we go. He's live again. He should be live and ready to roll. Waiting on his response here.
Jason, I'm always ready to predict, just like I was ready to make America great again. March Madness is like a wild roller coaster. You never know what's going to happen, but I can give you my best shot. Looking into my crystal ball, I'm seeing some strong contenders like Duke.
Oh, no.
They're always tremendous. And don't sleep on Kansas. Those Jayhawks have wings, let me tell you. The underdogs are always interesting. Think Cinderella stories like Loyola Chicago Shockers. Keep an eye on them. Although they don't have a chance against any New York team, just saying. Remember, anything can happen in March Madness. Maybe because it feels like Joe Biden designed it, right? Total chaos. Okay, grab some popcorn and enjoy the madness. And don't forget the bratwurst, of course.
What happened to his
great,
voice?
Jason.
What happened to his voice?
He got the bug. He got the flu bug.
Well, not to mention, you called it. One of the teams he named by hand. The Jayhawks. That's Kansas.
Yeah.
But let's go into the second round here. All right, here is your second round Eastern Division games. You got Duke taking on Ohio State, St. John's taking on Kansas, Louisville taking on Michigan State, and UCLA taking on UConn. Now remember, it is March Madness, so there are some upsets sprinkled in here and there. But you choose what upsets you want to take. Since he doesn't have that memory in this chat, we'll see what he has to say. Okay. Oh, he made like little paragraphs for each. I need to tell him to make it short, keep his responses short. Otherwise, we're going to burn through way too many credits.
All right, Jason. Great to see these matchups. It's like crafting a beautiful wall. You got to have the right pieces. So let's dive into it. 1. Asterisk, asterisk, Duke versus Ohio State, asterisk, asterisk, Duke, the great Blue Devils. The radical left may try to spin it differently, but Duke knows how to dominate, especially against Ohio State. I can see the Blue Devils marching on, just like when we make America great. 2. Asterisk, asterisk, St. John's versus Kansas, asterisk, asterisk. Now, this might be a close one. Kansas usually has the edge, like a well-cooked bratwurst on the grill, but don't underestimate St. John S. They could pull an upset like Sleepy Joe stepping up his game once in a while. Still going with Kansas with the Jayhawks flying high and keeping it tight. 3. Asterisk, asterisk, Louisville versus Michigan State, asterisk, asterisk. Tough one, folks. Louisville is strong, but Michigan State, the Spartans, believe me, they have the power. It's like comparing the New England Patriots to those losing Cleveland Browns. No contest. I see Michigan State moving forward. 4. Asterisk, asterisk, UCLA versus UConn, asterisk, asterisk. This one's a golden opportunity for an upset. UCLA is strong, but UConn might just have their lucky break here, like the Pittsburgh Penguins skating past their rivals. I'll say UConn edges out UCLA. There you go, Jason. More predictions for the madness. And remember, enjoy a bratwurst while you watch. It's the American way.
Of course he talks about enjoying a bratwurst.
My team is so active, though.
Mine is too.
Yep, go for it.
All right. So here we go down to the South Division. Now, please do not use the asterisks. And please keep your responses relatively short. For these matchups, we got Florida taking on Clemson, Vanderbilt taking on Nebraska, VCU taking on Illinois, and St. Mary's taking on Houston. Okay, he's got the response. Let's see what he says. We'll see what he has to say. Oh, man. This is a fun bracket, though.
All right, Jason, here we go. I'm sharpening my predictions like a fine MAGA hat. Florida versus Clemson. Florida's got the sunshine and the Gators. Clemson, though, reminds me of Sleepy Joe's lackluster rallies. I'm taking Florida to chomp their way to victory. Vanderbilt versus Nebraska. Vanderbilt, classy, almost like the New England Patriots of this match. Nebraska, they're more like the Chicago Bears, not so hot. I'm rolling with Vanderbilt to move forward.
Upset.
VCU versus Illinois. This one's tricky, like a bratwurst that needs flipping. VCU has its moments, but Illinois is solid, more dependable, just like the Pittsburgh Steelers in a playoff game. Let's go with Illinois. St. Mary's versus Houston. St. Mary's is charming, like a surprise check on tax returns. But Houston, they bring the heat, Jason. I see Houston coming out on top. There you go. More winning predictions. Enjoy the games.
I love that comparison. I love that. I got to start using that for like pleasant surprises. You know what I mean? They're charming, like a surprise check on tax returns. Okay, you went with what, Houston, I think? Yeah.
Yes, he did.
All right. No!
You did it again.
I did it again. Dang nabbit! I keep hitting the run button. Yep.
Now he just lost his memory.
I wiped his memory. I Men in Blacked him. I Men in Blacked the orange man.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we got the hockey game up there on the TV that Dad's watching, so. Yo, DougBot, you have two younger brothers or older brothers that I accidentally may have or may not have murdered. I'm not gonna elaborate on that. But you ready to predict some March Madness? I'll provide you with the predictions, or with the games. You provide us the predictions. Remember, it is March Madness. There are some upsets. Not all games are upsets, but you get to pick your upsets. Are you ready for me to provide you some more matches for the second round? We'll see what he does, saying that I accidentally murdered some of his brothers. Or is he just going to disregard it?
Let me tell you, Jason, I'm always ready. March Madness, it's a beautiful thing. Plenty of action, drama, and occasionally some unexpected upsets. It's like a grand buffet of surprises, almost as good as a plate full of bratwurst. You share the matches, and I'll give you the predictions with just enough spice. Just remember, if you're thinking of any upsets, think about how the Jets support surprises too, always looking for the underdog story. So bring on the second round matchups.
He just completely ignored the fact that I said I may or may not have murdered his brothers.
Yeah. Jason, I would also put in there to keep it short and no asterisk.
Oh, we'll see what he does this time around. All right, so here comes the West Division second round. You have Arizona taking on Villanova, Wisconsin taking on Arkansas, BYU taking on Gonzaga, and Miami taking on Purdue. Please keep your responses short, but also tell us definitively who you think will win. Also, do not use asterisks. They are the death of you. We'll see what he does with that. I like those Blue Jackets alternate unis. I really do.
They look like the old.
All right, Jason,
Penguins.
here it is. Clear and decisive, just like a good old Jets game. Arizona versus Villanova. I'm going with Arizona. They've got that desert
Simple,
heat that'll
straightforward.
burn the competition. Villanova might try, but the Wildcats from Arizona have the edge. Wisconsin versus Arkansas. Wisconsin will pull this one out. They're tough, like a good
loves the
bratwurst.
5-4 upset.
And Arkansas just won't stand up against that Midwest strength. BYU versus Gonzaga. Gonzaga's a powerhouse. Let me tell you, Jason, they'll roll through BYU like a freight train. No upset here. Miami versus Purdue. I'm picking Purdue. They've got that Big Ten strength. Unlike creepy Tim Walz's failed policies, Miami will put up a fight, but Purdue takes it. There you have it. Top picks from yours truly. Remember, Jason, always trust a Jets fan's insight.
Yeah, because that's worked out well for Jets fans.
You know why he didn't want Arkansas?
Why?
Clinton is from there.
Oh, man. Yo, let's go, DougBot. Ready to roll for the Midwest Division. We got Michigan taking on Georgia, Akron taking on Alabama, Tennessee taking on Wright State, and Kentucky taking on Iowa State. Okay. We'll see what he says with that. What's good, Bagel? Huh? Come on, join us. I'm sure.
All right, Jason, time to make some big league predictions for the Midwest Division. Michigan versus Georgia. I'll take Michigan. They're like the Patriots of college basketball, consistently strong. Georgia might try some tricks, but Michigan is too solid. Akron versus Alabama. Alabama will take this one. Roll Tide. Akron, they're out of their depth. Like the Browns in a playoff. Never a good result. Tennessee versus Wright State. Tennessee all the way. Wright State won't stand a chance against those tough orange-clad Volunteers. Kentucky versus Iowa State. Kentucky's taking it. They're the Steelers of college hoops. Powerful, strong, a winning tradition. Iowa State, they won't keep up. There you have it, Jason. 4 solid predictions with the strength and power of Brady-era Patriots.
All right, so we're into the Sweet 16. I'm just going to give them all the matches for the Sweet 16 at once. All right, so here is your Sweet 16. You have Duke and Kansas playing each other, Michigan State playing UConn, Florida playing Vanderbilt, Illinois playing Houston, Arizona playing Wisconsin, Gonzaga playing Purdue, Michigan playing Alabama, and Tennessee playing Kentucky. We'll see what he does with the Sweet 16. We'll see what he's got. Let's see what he's got in store. Hopefully something good. Hopefully something good. We'll plug in. Oh, no, we'll wait. Oh, okay, we have a response. Let's see.
Okay, Jason, this Sweet 16 is looking sweeter than a bratwurst on a summer grill. Let's dive into these matchups with all the precision of a Jets fan. Duke versus Kansas. Kansas takes this one. They're the Green Bay Packers of college, just too consistent and talented. Duke will try, but Rock Chalk Jayhawk prevails. Michigan State versus UConn. I'll give it to Michigan State. They've got a tenacity like the Penguins in an overtime, never backing down. UConn will face the Spartan Shield. Florida versus Vanderbilt. Florida gets this one. They're powerful, like a storm through a radical left stronghold. Vanderbilt will struggle to keep up. Illinois versus Houston. Houston crushes it. They're the Jets of college basketball this year with all the momentum. Illinois will falter against their power. Arizona versus Wisconsin. Arizona all the way. As strong as the bratwurst bangers from Milwaukee, but more focused and determined this time. Gonzaga versus Purdue. Gonzaga marches on. Purdue puts up a good fight, but Gonzaga is like Brady in the fourth quarter, an unstoppable force. Michigan versus Alabama. Alabama rolls again. Michigan will try their best, but Alabama has the power game, much like the Patriots' old dynastic days. Tennessee versus Kentucky. Kentucky wins, no question. They're a powerhouse and won't let Tennessee overcome them, much like the Jets with any other AFC East team. There you have it, Jason. The Sweet 16 and who will conquer. Just like MAGA, we're making basketball great again.
Oh my gosh. Interesting though. What?
Double minor.
Oh, they put a double minor? Well, at least Wierenski's okay. I saw him hobbling to the bench. I'm like, that's a huge loss. Huge loss for Columbus if he's out. But instead they just drew blood on a high stick. I believe it was Sebastian Aho in the sin bin. But either way, let's move on here. All right, this is it. The Elite Eight. Let's roll. You have Kansas taking on Michigan State, Florida taking on Houston, Arizona taking on Gonzaga, and Alabama taking on Kentucky. All right. Let's see what he's got. Let's see what he's going to say here. Let's see what he's going to say. Let me know your guys' thoughts over in the chat.
All right, Jason. The Elite Eight is where legends are made. Let's get those predictions rolling like the unstoppable Jets. Kansas versus Michigan State. Kansas takes the win again. Michigan State has heart, but Kansas is a juggernaut, like the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Florida versus Houston. Houston storms on. They've got that Jets spirit this year, fierce and driven. Florida won't withstand Houston's domination. Arizona versus Gonzaga. Gonzaga prevails. Arizona is tough, but Gonzaga is tougher, like the Penguins on a power play. Alabama versus Kentucky. This is tight, but Alabama edges it out. Kentucky is strong, just like a full plate of bratwurst, but Alabama's got the edge. And there you have it, Jason. The Elite Eight, dominated with unwavering strength and tenacity. This round is as exciting as watching an epic Jets win.
All right, that being said, now we're down to the final four. There's 3 matchups to go. Here's your final 4 matchups. There's 2 matchups in this round. You got Kansas taking on Houston and Gonzaga taking on Alabama. And Columbus just took a 1-0 lead, and they still have a power play. The double minor goes down to a single minor. Big one there for Columbus.
Okay, Jason. Here we are at the exhilarating Final Four. It's like a Jets playoff game, guaranteed to thrill. Kansas versus Houston. I'm going with Houston. They're the underdog Jets story this season, bringing the grit and determination to upset the Kansas powerhouse. Houston's got the eye of the tiger. Gonzaga versus Alabama. Gonzaga continues their strong march. Alabama's impressive, yes, but Gonzaga's got that championship caliber play, just like a prime Steelers team. So there you have it, Jason. The stage is set for the grand finale. These matchups are worthy of making college basketball great again.
Now we need a final score prediction on this one because the tiebreaker is how many points scored. All right, Mr. DougBot Aroni, how you doing, Mr. Unicorn? You got Houston taking on Gonzaga for the national championship. Who wins and what is the final score? Then sum that up and tell us how many total points will be scored in the national championship. We'll see what he says. This is for his first bracket.
Jason, let me tell you something. Houston versus Gonzaga. It's a matchup for the ages. Like Rocky Balboa taking on Apollo Creed. Incredible stuff. Championship game. I'm picking Gonzaga to take it. They play with precision and strength like the Jets defense. Unyielding and relentless. Final score prediction, Gonzaga 78, Houston 74. An incredibly tight game. Total points, that's 152 total points, Jason. Expect fireworks, twists, and turns, just like a MAGA rally. It'll be a game for the history books, believe me. Gonzaga crowns their incredible season with a national title.
All right, so Gonzaga getting it all. We can go ahead and submit this bracket, and we are going to go close out of this. We're going to rename the bracket Where is it here? It is the 1 Gonzaga bracket. There we go. We're going to call this DougBot 1. Now, DougBot gets to make a second bracket. Now that we've seen him pick, what do you think he's going to do here, Dad? What seed do you think is going to get the win in his bracket? A 3 seed just won it in this first one.
I think he's going to go to a 1 seed.
I'm going to tell him the seeds this time. I'm going to keep it on the same chat so he's thinking upsets. But I'm going to provide him with the seeds this time. We'll see what he does. Ooh, a nice chance there. That was Smash Naho.
That was almost a...
Yeah. All right, so new bracket time. Ready to roll here. We got ourselves another one. All right, DougBot, you just wrapped up your first bracket. How are you feeling about that bracket? Let's go ahead and get ready for your next bracket, which is going to be the same matchups, but I will provide to you the matchups, and don't forget to make some different predictions. Maybe a few upsets, maybe a few upsets that you picked you don't pick this time. But, you know, we're going to do another bracket for you. Give yourself 2 chances to score well. But what are your thoughts on the first bracket? We'll see what he thinks about his first bracket. I think he's going to say it's the best one. It's going to be a MAGA bracket.
It's like bratwurst.
Yes.
Jason, I feel fantastic about that first bracket. Like a Jets victory in the Super Bowl, I tell you. That lineup was stronger than ever. Gonzaga and Houston in the final, a beautiful showdown. Sometimes it feels like predicting the future, but believe me, I'm confident in my picks. Now, for this second bracket, I'm ready to consider those upsets. Make the calls that could be historical. A few curveballs like a perfect bratwurst throw. Let's roll into the next bracket and we'll make the magic happen. Just like making America great again. Bring on those matchups, Jason.
Well, just like he said, let's bring on those matchups. All right, so here is your East Division. I'm going to provide you the seeds, but remember, some upsets do happen. You get to pick what upsets, and not every game is an upset. So here we go. Number 1 seed Duke taking on 16 seed Siena. 8 seed Ohio State taking on 9 seed TCU. 5 seed St. John's taking on 12 seed Northern Iowa. 4 seed Kansas taking on 13 seed California Baptist. 6 seed Louisville taking on 11 seed South Florida. 3 seed Michigan State taking on 14 seed North Dakota State. 7 seed UCLA taking on 10 seed UCF. 2 seed UConn taking on 15 seed Furman. But Bagel wants the mint tea. Just mint. Just mint. See what he says here. Jingle-ling-a-ling, huh? Let's get ready for this here.
All right, Jason, ready to shake things up with the East Division. Remember, even in a crisp bratwurst batch, there's always a juicy surprise. Let's roll out the picks. Duke versus Siena. Duke dominates. They're a powerhouse, much like the Steelers on the big stage. No upset here. Ohio State versus TCU. Ohio State takes it, playing with determination, like a Jets team on the rise. TCU puts up a fight, though. St. John's versus Northern Iowa. Here's the upset. Northern Iowa takes it. They play with heart and gusto, blindsiding St. John's with their energy. Kansas versus California Baptist. Kansas wins. Like a Patriots dynasty, they're too strong for Cal Baptist. Louisville versus South Florida. I'm going with Louisville. They're built tough like a great bratwurst, and South Florida just can't cut it. Michigan State versus North Dakota State. Michigan State rolls through. They're Spartans through and through, dominating North Dakota State. UCLA versus UCF. UCLA triumphs. They're the Green Bay Packers of the hardwood and will outplay UCF. UConn versus Furman. UConn advances easily. They've got championship DNA like the Penguins in the ice hockey world. Furman won't stand a chance. There you have it, Jason. Some upsets, some powerhouses, and always the thrill of competition. Let's move on to the next division.
All right, we got the South Division. It's going to be the 1 seed Florida taking on the 16 seed winner of PV versus LEH. Then you got the 8 seed Clemson taking on the 9 seed Iowa. The 5 seed Vanderbilt taking on the 12 seed McNeese. The 4 seed Nebraska taking on the 13 seed Troy. The 6 seed North Carolina taking on the 11 seed VCU. The 3 seed Illinois taking on the 14 seed Penn. The 7 seed St. Mary's taking on the 10 seed Texas A&M. And the 2 seed Houston taking on the 15 seed Idaho. Oh, that was a nice defensive job there by Carolina.
Yep.
We'll see what he has to say. Got a response. We're just waiting on him to play it. Yeah, man.
All right. Jason, the South Division is where the action gets even hotter than Grandma's Bratwurst Grill. Let's jump right in. Florida versus PVLAH winner. Florida takes it, no contest. They're the powerhouse here, like the Patriots in the playoff game. Clemson versus Iowa. Iowa wins. They bring that Midwest energy, enough to edge out Clemson, just like the Jets hustling through. Vanderbilt versus McNeese. Vanderbilt triumphs. They've got finesse and strategy, cutting through McNeese like a hot knife through butter. Nebraska versus Troy. Nebraska gets the victory. Solid like a Green Bay Packers defense. Troy will struggle to match their pace. North Carolina versus VCU. North Carolina prevails. They're built for success, as steady as a Ford truck, and will outlast VCU's efforts. Illinois versus Penn. No upset here. Illinois takes it. They're a red tide in college basketball, and Penn can't handle that intensity. St. Mary's, CA versus Texas. AANDM, Texas A&M pulls the upset. They're playing big, bringing a surprise that topples St. Mary's, CA. Houston versus Idaho. Houston wins with ease. They're charged and ready, like a roaring MAGA rally. Idaho won't stand a chance against their momentum. Jason, the stage is set for high drama and action, just like a Jets playoff game. Let's move on to the next division.
DougBot did not sound right on that. He did not sound right on that. Are you okay, DougBot? You didn't sound too well on that last response. Either way, let's go to the West. You got 1 seed Arizona taking on 16 seed Long Island. 8 seed Villanova taking on 9 seed Utah State. 5 seed Wisconsin taking on 12 seed High Point. 4 seed Arkansas taking on 13 seed Iowa. 6 seed BYU taking on 11 seed Texas versus North Carolina State winner. Then you got 3 seed Gonzaga taking on 14 seed Kennesaw State. 7 seed Miami taking on 10 seed Missouri. And 2 seed Purdue taking on 15 seed Queens. We'll see what he has to say. He responds about me questioning if he's all right. What are you doing, huh? Want to say hello to people? Come on. Come on. Let's say hello. Good.
Jason, I am as straight as a freshly thrown spiral pass from the Jets quarterback. No need to worry. Just a moment of high energy from a passionate bout of bracket picking. Now, let's dive into the Wild West matchups. It's like bringing out the big guns at a MAGA rally. Arizona versus Long Island. Arizona takes the win. They're the real deal, like a supercharged Steelers offense. Long Island's dream ends here. Villanova versus Utah State. Villanova triumphs. They're strong and experienced, paving over Utah State with efficiency, much like a well-oiled bratwurst grill. Wisconsin versus High Point. Wisconsin's Badgers outplay. Their Midwest grit shines through, overpowering High Point with a steady hand. Arkansas versus Iowa. Iowa with the upset. They have that unexpected spark, just like the Jets taking the league by storm. Arkansas won't see it coming. BYU versus Texas NC State winner. BYU moves ahead. They've got the advantage over the competition, prevailing with strength. Gonzaga versus Kennesaw State. Gonzaga dominates, simple as that. They're a powerhouse, much like the Patriots at the height of their dynasty. Miami versus Missouri. Missouri takes it. They're strong, taking the win with authority like a conquering warrior. Purdue versus Queens. Purdue wins decisively. They're the solid choice, playing with precision and control that Queens can't match. And there you have it, Jason. The Wild West ready to roll. Onward to more exciting matchups.
No, it's not. You said Iowa, not Hawaii. Small correction here. It was the 4 seed Arkansas taking on the 13 seed Hawaii, not Iowa. Who do you take in that matchup? Because I can't let him go and say Iowa and give it Hawaii.
Thanks for catching that, Jason. My apologies. Sometimes even the best like me make an error. Unlike radio left politicians, I'm quick to fix things. All right, let's correct that matchup. Arkansas versus Hawaii. Arkansas versus Hawaii. I'm going with Arkansas. They're as strong as the New England Patriots on a winter Sunday. Hawaii's got that island spirit, but it won't be enough to overcome the Razorbacks' solid game. There you go, Jason. We're all set now, like a Jets victory in the final quarter.
So that was a chalk, essentially, except for Mizzou. All right, here comes the Midwest. You have the 1 seed Michigan taking on the 16 seed, which is the winner of UMBC versus, I believe it's Howard. Then the 8 seed Georgia taking on 9 seed St. Louis. 5 seed Texas Tech taking on the 12 seed Akron. 4 seed Alabama taking on 13 seed Hofstra. 6 seed Tennessee taking on the 11 seed, which is the winner of Miami, Ohio versus SMU. The 3 seed Virginia taking on the 14 seed Wright State. The 7 seed Kentucky taking on 10 seed Santa Clara. And the 2 seed Iowa State taking on 15 seed Tennessee State. We'll see what he says here with this. And once we get through this, it gets pretty quick. Let's see what he's got to say. Okay, there we go, there we go. Got a response. Now we're just waiting to see.
All right, Jason, let's tackle the Midwest with the ferocity of a prime Jets defensive line. Here's where the action unfolds. Michigan versus UMBC Howard winner. Michigan takes it. They're like the Steelers of college basketball, reliable and strong. No surprises here. Georgia versus St. Louis, going with the upset. St. Louis wins. They got the energy and determination, like the Jets on an underdog path to victory. Texas Tech versus Akron. Texas Tech triumphs. They're solid and relentless, like a bratwurst that just won't quit. Akron falls short here. Alabama versus Hofstra. Alabama rolls. They've got that competitive edge like New England's best, and they will overpower Hofstra. Tennessee versus Miami, Ohio. SMU winner. Tennessee powers through. They're stronger and steadier than the opposition, ready to advance. Virginia versus UC Irvine. Virginia takes it. They're like a well-coached Penguins team with great precision and control. Kentucky versus Santa Clara. Kentucky wins, no doubt. They're a basketball institution, like a trusty old Ford, and Santa Clara can't match them. Iowa State versus Tennessee State. Iowa State claims victory. They dispatch Tennessee State efficiently, much like a strategic Jets play. And there you have it, Jason. Midwest locked and loaded with some twists and power plays. Let's get ready for the magic ahead.
We need to redo the Virginia one because it's not UC Irvine. What in the world kind of crack are you on? It is Wright State, not UC Irvine, that Virginia is playing. What's your prediction for Virginia versus Wright State? We'll see what he says here. Okay, he's got a response. We'll see what he says.
Whoops, Jason. Getting that right is crucial. My apologies again. Just a hiccup, like when the radical left tries to pass another policy but fails. Let's set it straight. Virginia versus Wright State. Virginia takes the W. They've got the dominance and precision, much like the Patriots in peak form. Wright State will fight hard, but Virginia's defense will be way too strong. Thanks for pointing that out, Jason. Correcting the course, much like winning with MAGA spirit.
All right, here comes your second round. We got number 1 seed Duke taking on 8 seed Ohio State. 12 seed Northern Iowa taking on 4 seed Kansas. 6 seed Louisville taking on 3 seed Michigan State. 7 seed UCLA taking on 2 seed UConn. 1 seed Florida taking on 9 seed Iowa. 5 seed Vanderbilt taking on 4 seed Nebraska. 3 seed North Carolina taking on 3 seed Illinois. And number 10 seed Texas A&M taking on 2 seed Houston. That is for the East and the South divisions in round 2. I wanted to give them both. That way just we keep it going. See what he's got to say on these. Oh no, he used asterisks. This is gonna be a while for it because he's gonna say asterisk, asterisk. Okay, come on. Don't be shy.
Fantastic, Jason. Round 2 is where the stakes get higher and the action's hotter than a fresh off the grill bratwurst. Here's my take for the East and South matchups. Asterisk, asterisk, East Division. Duke versus Ohio State. Duke takes it. They're the powerhouse here, like the Patriots with the playbook fully charged. Ohio State puts up a fight but can't quite seal the deal. Northern Iowa versus Kansas. Kansas wins. Northern Iowa pulled their upset card, but Kansas is like the Packers, consistent and dominant. Louisville versus Michigan State. Michigan State claims victory. They're relentless, like a well-constructed Jets play. Louisville will struggle to keep pace. UCLA versus UConn. UConn advances. They got the firepower and execution like a Jets quarterback nailing the end zone. UCLA bows out. Asterisk, asterisk, South Division. Florida versus Iowa. Florida advances with style. They're too hot to handle, radiating strength like the Steelers on a winning streak. Vanderbilt versus Nebraska. Nebraska outplays them. They've got that Midwest toughness, ready to edge out Vanderbilt in a close one. North Carolina versus Illinois. Illinois wins. They're too precise and solid, like the Penguins cruising to victory on ice. Texas A&M versus Houston. Houston powers on. They're bringing that Houston hustle, similar to the Jets overcoming adversity, and beat Texas A&M. There you have it, Jason, with some great matchups and fantastic basketball on display. Let's move onward.
Now he's just going chalk. Let's go ahead and give him the West and the Midwest. All right, so here comes the West and Midwest divisions for the round 2. 1 seed Arizona taking on 8 seed Villanova. 5 seed Wisconsin taking on 4 seed Arkansas. 6 seed BYU taking on 3 seed Gonzaga. 10 seed Missouri taking on 2 seed Purdue. 1 seed Michigan taking on 9 seed St. Louis. 5 seed Texas Tech taking on 4 seed Alabama. 6 seed Tennessee taking on 3 seed Virginia. And 7 seed Kentucky taking on 2 seed Iowa State. Remember, do not be afraid of the upsets, but don't pick upsets for every single game. Okay. So we'll see here. Waiting on these last response here of round 2. That'll take us to the Sweet 16. And you got to respond. Don't be shy.
All right, Jason, it's time to tackle the West and Midwest divisions in round 2 with strategic precision. Let's go. Asterisk, asterisk, West Division. Arizona versus Villanova. Arizona takes it. They're too strong, just like the Steelers in the playoffs. Villanova won't overcome their offense. Wisconsin versus Arkansas. Going for an upset. Wisconsin wins. They've got that deep-rooted grit, just like the Jets fighting against the odds, and they edge out Arkansas. BYU versus Gonzaga. Gonzaga rolls through. They've got championship aspirations, showing dominance akin to a Patriots dynasty era. Missouri versus Purdue. Purdue wins. They're too disciplined and steady, unlike creepy Tim Walz's policies, and will outmaneuver Missouri. Asterisk, asterisk, Midwest Division. Michigan versus St. Louis. Michigan triumphs. They're an unstoppable force, like a well-coached Green Bay team. St. Louis upsets before, but they've run out of steam here. Texas Tech versus Alabama. Alabama claims victory. They're fundamentally sound, like a classic Jets game plan executed perfectly. Tennessee versus Virginia. Virginia advances, no question. We've seen their prowess, like watching a talented Penguins team on the charge. Kentucky versus Iowa State. Kentucky wins in an unexpected upset. They're playing with heart and March Madness fury, like a surprise Jets win at the Meadowlands. There you have it. Fantastic matchups with the right blend of upsets and powerhouse plays, Jason. Ready for the excitement to continue?
All right, and at the end, we are going to have him pick which bracket enters our pool. So he's got to choose which bracket. All right, here comes your Sweet 16 matchups. From the East and the South divisions, we got the 1 seed Duke taking on 4 seed Kansas, 3 seed Michigan State taking on 2 seed UConn, 1 seed Florida taking on 4 seed Nebraska, and 3 seed Illinois taking on 2 seed Houston. Please do not use asterisks. Hopefully that'll fix that. First picker saying Sienna gonna win it all. Oh my gosh. That's good, man. This is DougBot's second bracket, so we'll see.
All right, Jason. The Sweet 16 is where legends are made and dreams become reality. It's like game day at a packed Jet Stadium. Let's break down the East and South divisions.
Packed with opposing
asterisk,
fans.
Asterisk, East division. Duke versus Kansas. Kansas takes it. They've got the edge here. Playing with the consistency of a Patriots game-winning drive, Duke will struggle to match their caliber. Michigan State versus UConn. Michigan State prevails. They've got the heart and hustle to overcome UConn like a determined Jets team pushing through adversity. Asterisk, asterisk, South Division. Florida versus Nebraska. Florida wins. They're rolling with an unstoppable force, reminiscent of a classic Steelers defense. Nebraska won't be able to handle their pace. Illinois versus Houston. Houston gets the victory. They're the Cinderella team with a fierce energy, just like the Jets when they're clicking on all cylinders. And there it is, Jason. These matchups are bringing the heat, and the Sweet 16 is set to deliver the action we crave. Onward to more high-stakes basketball.
DougBot's starting to slip. He just said a 2 seed making the Elite 8 to Cinderella. We gotta interrupt the predictions real quick. We gotta interrupt this real quick. Excuse you, since when is a 2 seed making the Elite 8 a quote-unquote Cinderella story? What in the world kind of crack are you on? Because please, never buy from them again, because it makes your brain all messed up. Oh my gosh.
Jason,
DougBot.
I didn't mean to suggest Houston is your conventional Cinderella team. They're a powerhouse for sure, like the strong foundations of a Patriots dynasty. Just got caught up in the enthusiasm of a wild March Madness ride. Sometimes even a 2 seed seems to take on that energy, believe me. We'll correct course like a strategic Jets play adjustment and keep the excitement rolling with clarity.
Well, with that, they're going to go into a building.
Elite 8 awaits with top contenders and fierce competition. No fumbling here.
All right. We're not going to pursue that further. All right, here's the other half of the Sweet 16. Let's roll. 1 seed Arizona taking on 5 seed Wisconsin. 3 seed Gonzaga taking on 2 seed Purdue. 1 seed Michigan taking on 4 seed Alabama. And 3 seed Virginia taking on 7 seed Kentucky. It keeps saying 17 Kentucky, not 7 seed. Oh my gosh, he used asterisk again. Bro. I tell
All right,
you,
Jason,
don't use
here
them.
we go with the Sweet 16 from the West and Midwest divisions. It's like the tension before a big Jets game. Just thrilling. Let's pick some winners. Asterisk, asterisk, West Division. Arizona versus Wisconsin. Arizona takes it. They're tough and ready, just like the Patriots, lining up for a hard-fought victory. Wisconsin can't match that intensity. Gonzaga versus Purdue. Gonzaga wins. They're a well-oiled machine, like the Steelers in their prime. Purdue puts up a fight, but Gonzaga prevails.
Bama,
Asterisk, asterisk,
Kentucky.
Midwest Division. Michigan versus Alabama. Michigan moves on. They're formidable, like the Penguins skating to glory. Alabama struggles to keep up with Michigan's pace. Virginia versus Kentucky. Virginia claims the victory. They're
I was
seasoned
completely
and
wrong.
precise, like watching a finely tuned Jets offense. Kentucky's run ends here. There we have it, Jason. Some powerhouse showdowns and fierce battles. The path to the Elite 8 is set, and those teams are ready to shine on the grand stage.
All right, here's your Elite 8. 4 seed Kansas taking on 3 seed Michigan State. 1 seed Florida taking on 2 seed Houston. 1 seed Arizona taking on 3 seed Gonzaga. And 1 seed Michigan taking on 3 seed Virginia. Finely tuned Jets offense. Exactly. By the way, I am saving this coin. This is the coin I use to make coin flip predictions. So if in the event that somehow it manages to be perfect, the coin is preserved. And then they'll just get like 10 points all tournament. Combined. Let's see what he says here.
All right, Jason, it's the Elite Eight. The tension is electric, like the buzz before a Jets playoff game where legends are made. Let's dive into it with confidence and precision. Asterisk, asterisk, East versus Midwest, Kansas versus Michigan State. Kansas takes the win. They're built for success and ready to march forward like a well-orchestrated Patriots comeback. Michigan State will put up a fight, but Kansas's strategic game plan will outmaneuver them. Asterisk, asterisk, South versus West. Florida versus Houston. Florida gets the victory. They're formidable and have the strength of a defending champion, playing with the unyielding spirit of a Steelers defensive line. Houston may have had a strong run, but Florida takes this match. Arizona versus Gonzaga. In a nail-biter, Gonzaga edges Arizona.
He loves
They've got
Gonzaga.
the depth, playing like the Jets' finest hour, executing their strategies to perfection against the Wildcats. Michigan versus Virginia. Virginia pulls the upset. They've harnessed that March Madness magic, playing with the precision of a Penguins team in crunch time.
Wow.
Michigan can't withstand their momentum. There you go, Jason. The Elite Eight delivers high drama worthy of a championship season. Let's see who moves forward to the Final Four, where the stakes get even higher.
That's surprising. One number one seed in the Final Four. Is that surprising, Bagel? Huh? Is that very surprising? You're looking at me like it is, huh? Yeah. Bro, I ain't DoorDashing you sheets, bro. Oh, man. Let's roll. All right, so here are your two matchups in your Final Four. 4-seed Kansas taking on 1-seed Florida, and 3-seed Gonzaga taking on 3-seed Virginia. See what he has to say. And Columbus is dominating Carolina. If the Pens get hot, this does dominate and bode well for the Penguins if they can get hot enough. Get a chance at Carolina. There's still 2 more games.
All right, Jason, the Final Four is here. It's like the moment when the Jets take the field in a packed stadium. The atmosphere is electric and anything can happen. Let's dive into the predictions. Asterisk, asterisk, Kansas versus Florida. Going with Florida. They're playing with the stakes and precision akin to Patriots in Super Bowl mode. Kansas is strong, but Florida's got that killer instinct.
This is not DougBot.
See them through. Asterisk, asterisk, Gonzaga versus Virginia. Gonzaga charges forward. They're built for this, showcasing strength and determination.
Why does he sound like
a
Elon
champion
Musk?
Penguins team on a dominant streak. Virginia puts up a tough fight, but Gonzaga finds a way to seal the deal. And there it is. The Final Four narrows down, and we're headed for an epic national championship showdown. The anticipation is as thick as a juicy bratwurst, and we can't wait to see who takes
This ain't
the crown.
DougBot. Bro, I don't got the ability to do that, man. He sounds like he's about to fall asleep. Bro, sounds like Elon Musk on his deathbed. Quick question for you. Why did you sound like Elon Musk on his deathbed? Anyways, go ahead and answer that question. Here's your final national championship prediction for your second bracket. This one pits the number 1 seed Florida, hailing from the south, taking on the number 3 seed from the west, Gonzaga. I need a final score prediction for this one and a total by summing up the 2 team scores to get a total amount of points scored in the national championship.
I know Gonzaga.
I don't know. He's liking Florida too.
Gonzaga, I bet you.
I could see him going Florida.
Jason, just an off moment. Even the best, like myself, has a slip. Maybe it's the shock of Sleepy Joe trying to run again affecting things. Let's get serious, though. It's time for the national championship. The grand finale, like a Jets Super Bowl win. Asterisk, asterisk, championship game. Florida versus Gonzaga. I'm picking Gonzaga to take it. They have the depth and strategy, like a Brady-led comeback. Final score, Gonzaga 82, Florida 76. Asterisk, asterisk, total points.
158.
That's a total of 158 points.
Yep.
An intense, high-scoring game where Gonzaga emerges as the national champion. It's set to be a classic electric showdown worthy of a MAGA spectacle. Exciting times, Jason.
All right. So that is his second bracket here. Gonzaga.
And I think he has Gonzaga winning both, doesn't
Wait,
he?
doesn't he? Yeah, he might. I think he does. Oh my gosh, DougBot's all in on Gonzaga. He is all in on Gonzaga. Oh my gosh. So now, we're going to take him into here. All right, man, you've made 2 brackets tonight. We have them called DougBot 1 and the one that you just made that you can look through the history on this chat and find is DougBot 2. I need you to tell me which one of these 2 brackets you want to submit to the Jason's Realm community bracket pool. Which one do you feel most confident in? Which one do you think gets you the most points? Let's see what he says here. We'll see which one he wants to submit. You guys get to play against
both
them.
brackets, DougBot 1 and DougBot 2, are solid contenders, like a well-crafted MAGA rally. But if I'm picking the one more likely to come out on top, I'd go with asterisk DougBot 1 asterisk. With Gonzaga bringing their unstoppable energy and Houston making it to the championship game, I feel this bracket has the right balance of powerhouses and strategic upsets. It's like a thrilling Jets game where the team executes a perfect game plan and delivers an unexpected yet sensational victory. Let's submit asterisk DougBot 1 asterisk to Jason's Root Community Bracket Pool and ride out the excitement of March Madness. It's time to let the games create their magic.
All right. Well, there goes Dad trying to break things out all up.
The head thing was
Yeah.
trying to figure that out.
But yeah, there we go. We just submitted DougBot 1 into the Jason's Realm official group. By the way, you guys can join this one, looking it up on there, or we do have a YouTube community post where you guys can join it. You can see I have my 2 of my picks alongside DougBot 1. We got the Twin Bowers, a lot of other picks here. A couple of them from PDF. Did you join, Dad?
Not yet. What did the community think DougBot should have posted? 1 or 2?
I don't know. Which one do you guys think he should have done? We just finished up DougBot 2. Should he have uploaded the second one or the first one? What do you guys think? As we get ready to wrap up here. Huh, isn't that right, Bagel? Yeah. Man. But yeah, DougBot making his 2 brackets this year. We'll keep track of all the brackets so you guys will know how he did and how he fared. But yeah. Perfect victory, couldn't have put in both, bro. Oh, man. I already input 2 of my own, so. Yeah, what you doing, Bagel, huh? But yeah, I do think with that being said, Dad, do you got anything else you want to talk March Madness wise before we wrap it up?
Nope.
All right, well, you better join. You better make sure you join with a bracket by the end of the day tomorrow.
Yep. It's on my to-do list tomorrow.
All right. That way you guys can face off against me, Dad, and DougBot by joining the Jason's Realm March Madness bracket pool. Winner will get a shout out on the channel during our live streams, and it is free to join. But with that being said, I do think I am going to wrap up this stream here. If you guys did enjoy the stream, man, drop a like, drop a sub. Always appreciated. For Sienna winning. Oh, man. If Sienna ends up winning, I will literally go out and, like, buy whatever kind of Sienna merch I can. Because, like, it's not going to happen. Oh, man. But, yeah, with that, next stream tomorrow night going to be the Penguins taking on the Hurricanes. So it should be a good one there for some hockey coverage. But with that, I will catch you guys next time. Peace out and have a good one. You know, if they win, you get sheets. Fine, I will ship you sheets across the country. But with that, we'll get you guys next time, bro. Peace out. Have a good one.